Imagine the year is 10,000 BC. A rugged hunter-gatherer wakes up in his cave, but instead of picking up a wooden spear to chase a mammoth, he adjusts his tailored sabertooth-fur tie, grabs a cup of boiling hot pine needle coffee, and clocks in for his 9 to 5 shift at the local steam-powered Flint factory. Welcome to the ultimate alternate history timeline. What if the Industrial Revolution did not wait for the 18th century? What if humanity skipped thousands of years of agricultural dawdling and went straight from discovering fire to building steam engines in the Stone Age? How would a prehistoric society handle corporate monopolies, geopolitical arms races, and organized labor? Stick around because the political, military, and economic consequences of a prehistoric industrial age are far more chaotic and surprisingly logical than you might think. History tells us that early humans used fire simply to cook meat and stay warm. But let us alter the timeline. Our ancestors had the exact same brain capacity as modern humans. All it takes is one highly observant caveman noticing that water boiled in a tightly sealed clay pot produces enough steam to push a heavy rock. From that single observation, the prehistoric steam engine is born. Suddenly, fire is no longer just for survival. It is a profound source of mechanical power. The immediate political shift is staggering. The tribal leaders are no longer the strongest hunters or the oldest elders. The new leaders are the chief engineers, the individuals who understand how to maintain the pressure valves of giant, crude clay and stone boilers. Knowledge becomes the ultimate currency. Tribes that figure out how to harness steam power quickly abandon their nomadic lifestyles. Why follow the mammoth herds across freezing tundras when you can build a stationary steam-powered trap that does the heavy lifting for you? The concept of territory fundamentally changes. Land is no longer valued for its hunting prospects, but for its resources. Coal, timber, and water become the most crucial geopolitical assets on the planet. The tribe that controls the largest coal deposit suddenly controls the prehistoric global economy. With stationary steam engines processing food, weaving warm fabrics from animal hair, and refining stone tools at unprecedented speeds, we see the birth of the prehistoric working class. We transition rapidly from hunter-gatherer egalitarianism to a strict corporate hierarchy. Let us look at the economics. Instead of sharing a mammoth equally among the tribe, the tribal CEO claims ownership of the mammoth because his steam-powered pulleys brought it down. The average caveman now works an assembly line, chiseling standardized spearheads or shoveling coal into the tribal furnace. In exchange, they receive shell coins, an early fiat currency backed by the tribe's steam output, which they can exchange for processed mammoth rations. This leads to the world's first corporate monopolies. Picture a massive industrialized settlement in the heart of Europe. Let us call them the Neanderthal heavy industries. They have monopolized the obsidian trade. Because obsidian makes the sharpest tools and they have the steam-powered grinding wheel to mass-produce them, Homo sapiens tribes are forced into unfavorable trade agreements. The political landscape resembles the Cold War, but instead of superpowers negotiating over oil, they are locked in intense diplomatic summits over access to premium volcanic glass and high-grade firewood. Naturally, this creates friction. We would likely see the very first labor strikes in human history. Imagine thousands of workers throwing down their stone hammers, refusing to shovel coal, and demanding a 4-day work week and better ventilation in the cave factories. The political maneuvering required by tribal chiefs to suppress or appease these prehistoric unions would rival any modern political drama. Where there is industry, there is a fundamental shift in military doctrine. The Stone Age is no longer characterized by chaotic skirmishes with wooden clubs. The introduction of industrial mass production transforms prehistoric conflict into highly organized tactical engagements. In our real history, military logistics, the ability to supply and maintain an army, is what wins long-term campaigns. In this alternate timeline, logistics are revolutionized millennia early. Steam-powered carts, slowly but steadily rolling on giant wooden wheels, can transport tons of supplies, allowing standing armies to project power far beyond their home territories. The weapons themselves undergo a terrifying evolution. While metallurgy does not exist yet, engineering does. We are looking at steam-assisted catapults capable of launching massive boulders with pinpoint accuracy. We are seeing repeating crossbows carved from reinforced bone, utilizing tension and basic gears to fire wooden bolts at a rapid pace. Armor shifts from simple animal hides to thick, tightly woven, steam-pressed fiber vests reinforced with polished stone plates. Tactically, the battlefield transforms. Because weapons are standardized, military formations become highly disciplined. Tribal chiefs study the art of strategic positioning. They use thick plumes of coal smoke from portable boilers to create prehistoric smokescreens, masking their troop movements. Geopolitically, the arms race creates a delicate balance of power. If one tribe develops a higher pressure steam engine that can launch projectiles further, neighboring tribes must either form a coalition or steal the technology through prehistoric corporate espionage. Spies are sent across the tundra not to steal food, but to steal blueprints carved into stone tablets. Every industrial revolution comes with a heavy environmental cost, and our prehistoric timeline is no exception. However, the timing here makes the consequences wildly unpredictable. In our real timeline, the last ice age slowly came to an end due to natural climate shifts. But what happens when thousands of early industrial hubs start pumping thick, unregulated coal smoke into the pristine prehistoric atmosphere? We trigger an accelerated, man-made end to the Ice Age. The glaciers begin to retreat at an alarming rate. Sea levels rise, swallowing coastal hunting grounds and forcing massive climate migrations. This creates unprecedented geopolitical tension. Inland tribes suddenly find millions of coastal refugees at their borders, leading to complex border security issues and resource rationing. But the environmental crisis also forces prehistoric diplomacy. Picture the world's first global climate summit. Tribal delegates wearing heavily decorated saber-tooth suits and carrying stone briefcases gather around a massive ceremonial fire. They argue through interpreters about carbon emissions and deforestation. The wealthy, heavily industrialized tribes refuse to cut back on their coal consumption, arguing that it would stall their economic growth, while the smaller, flood-threatened tribes demand immediate environmental regulations. It is a highly sophisticated political debate, taking place entirely without a written alphabet, relying solely on complex cave paintings and aggressive hand gestures. So, where does this accelerated timeline leave humanity as the centuries pass? The societal advancement is exponential. Because they bypassed the slow, thousands of years long agricultural trap, technology compounds rapidly. Without the need to focus entirely on basic survival, the prehistoric education system flourishes. Elders no longer just teach children how to track deer, they teach them basic thermodynamics, rudimentary physics, and structural engineering. We see the rise of prehistoric universities, vast networks of interconnected caves dedicated to theoretical research. By the time this civilization reaches the point where the Bronze Age would naturally occur, they are not just discovering metal. They are aggressively mining and refining it with industrial-scale steam power. They skip the slow progression of bronze and iron entirely, jumping straight to steel production. The geopolitical map of the world is drawn not by ancient empires like Rome or Egypt, but by massive, continent-spanning corporate tribes. These entities govern through complex bureaucratic systems, managing global supply chains of raw materials. They have established a global economy based on calculated resource management rather than simple conquest. In the end, if the Industrial Revolution had started in the Stone Age, human history would be a fascinating blend of primitive aesthetics and advanced socioeconomic structures. We would have seen the rise of corporate chieftains, prehistoric arms races driven by steam and stone, and complex political diplomacy long before the invention of the wheel. It proves that human ingenuity, regardless of the era, will always trend toward progress, organization, and a little bit of chaotic ambition. It is a world where the fiercest predator is not the saber-toothed tiger, but the tribal tax collector. If you do not want your YouTube feed to be stuck in the literal Stone Age, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. What historical era should we completely disrupt next? Drop your wildest alternate history ideas in the comments below. Do not forget to leave a like to help fuel our steam-powered algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next timeline.